welcome to episode 2 of Ray Speaks. I know before I had said that it was going to be about relationships, but I do want to dig deeper into self. And so that's why we're going to switch it up a little bit and just kind of go from there. I also have a new candle. It's mulled cider, and it will not go out on you guys this time. I promise. I just want to get the vibes going and get the scents lingering so that way I can feel what I'm saying. And we're going to get into it. So I know in episode 1, we spoke about my parents and my background and just a little bit about myself and the challenges that I was going through. And I do want to dive more into that, and specifically on the topic of death and grieving and learning how to cope with those things, right? So we're definitely going to talk about that and those topics, and just kind of, we're going to dig deep and channel these emotions and just kind of figure out where we are right now. So if you are a person that's going through a situation to where you're grieving, to where you've lost a loved one recently or years ago, months ago, this is for you. And I do want to let you guys know that this is an open space. We're loving here. We don't judge, and you're safe here. So I just want to get that out the way and let you guys know that you're definitely loved, you're valued, you're appreciated, and let's get into it. I'm currently in school to be a mental health therapist. Right now it's general studies. I haven't even studied my major yet, so I have a long way to go, but we're going to get there. And so a little backstory about school. I did go to a previous school. I failed out of college. This was like whenever I was fresh out of high school. So granted, it was freedom to me. It was parties. It was everything. And I was just like, hey, I'm here for it. But I failed out because of math, the forbidden subject we all hate. Well, you might be good at it. I'm not. But so I failed out of college. I was in college, and I initially stopped in 2014, I think. And so, yeah, I struggled for a while there. And there were a lot of challenges in between 2014 to now, to present, right? Just a lot of losses, not like death-wise, but like relationship-wise. And then death-wise was here more recently in this year. And we'll get into that. Like I said, if you watch episode 1, you'll see what I'm talking about. But that was like a point in my life to where I was like, okay, I'm an adult, but I don't know how to adult, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Granted, I'm 26, so let's get that out the way. But there were a lot of challenges, and I felt like a failure. I really, really did. I felt so much like a failure. And the one thing I will never forget, and this is why my dad is so important to me, for not just this reason, but multiple. But for this reason specifically, I broke the news to him. He came and picked me up from the university, and I felt like I was doing the walk of shame out of my dorm room, and I had to pack up all my stuff, and I was just like so heartbroken and disappointed in myself. And I felt like, wow, like everybody wasted their money because I went to college and failed. I failed. And we had this car ride home. It was a 45-minute car ride home, and my dad was just so encouraging. And he says, you know what? Failure is an option. Failure is an option. Because if you never fail, how will you learn to succeed? So you have to fail. I'm not disappointed in you. I'm not mad at you. I love you. And I'm proud of you for doing what you did to get to where you are. So sometimes we have to look at failures as, okay, this is a stepping stone for me to get to where I need to be. And it might not seem like that in that moment. You might be sold in the fact that you did not succeed at the one thing you set yourself to succeed at. And it's going to hurt. You're going to be devastated. But you have to fail. It's literally a part of life. Literally. You have to fail. If you don't fail, how will you know what your capacity is in succeeding? You have to fail. It's gonna happen one way or another. And sometimes I remind myself of that now. because a lot of times I think I'm too hard on myself whenever it comes to school now, and we're fast forwarding to right now. I'm 26 years old. I'm in college, enrolled full time. And there's times to where I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do homework. I don't want to be bothered with any of that. I just want to be lazy and I want to rest. But I know the passion that I have in my heart, the goals that I want to meet, the fire, that the drive in me that I have, I cannot afford to. And yes, there are times, granted, whenever my dad passed away in March, I quit school for a good 4 months. I'm back and fresh, new to school again, you see? So that kind of delayed me getting my bachelor's degree a little bit. And we enrolled in school together. And that's the beauty of this whole thing. We enrolled in school together. And he said, I want to be a substance abuse counselor. I said, okay, I want to be a mental health counselor. So let's enroll together and let's get this shit done. And that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. We went to the university together and we enrolled as father and daughter, literally. And it was the most beautiful thing. And I think I'm so driven and so determined because I promised him that I would finish, and not just me, my promise to him, but because this is my passion, right? I would do this for free. I can talk to people all day for free. You know, I can get to know people's minds and their different mental illnesses and their diagnosis without getting paid. That's how I knew this is what I want to do for a living, because I've been through so much and I have so much to share with my story. And I feel like so many people will relate to that. And I'm so passionate, which is why I want to be a therapist. That's why. That's literally it. I like getting to know people's minds, and I want to come to a resolution, or just not so much of that, but coming to a form of you venting. I think it's so important to express your emotions and how you feel, right? And this is speaking from someone who keeps her shit bottled in, literally. And I'm working on that. But there was once upon a time to where I didn't talk at all. I didn't want to talk about anything I was going through. And that damaged me on the insides. Because I'll give out this attitude of, I don't want to be bothered. You can't help me, or you can't do this. You can't do that. That's not healthy. There's always somebody willing to listen to you if you just take the time out to express those emotions. And it's not easy for everyone. It's not. It wasn't easy for me. But at the same time, think of yourself, and this is going to be kind of like a weird scenario. Think of yourself as a balloon, right? This balloon keeps blowing up and blowing up, and it's just blowing up so much to where it can't blow anymore. So you're the balloon, and you're full of emotions and heartache and pain and trauma and lust and just every single thing, right? One day somebody's going to find a pin and pop that shit. What are you going to do? You're going to explode, and you won't know what to do with those emotions because you've never learned how to vocalize them to someone you can trust. So it's so very important to understand, like, hey, I'm going through this situation. I need somebody to talk to. I need somebody I can trust to talk to. It's so important. I'm telling you, it's important. You got to find that person that you trust, that understands you, and that you can understand them. They have to have the mental capacity to be non-biased, and they really have to study your emotions. And even if they weren't going through the things that you're going through, they know how to speak to you in a way to where you can understand. You know, so that's important. So anyway, back on topic of failure and grief and death and all of those things. Listen. When I lost my dad this year, this was the hardest year of my life. I shit you not. And you'll find out soon, shit is my favorite word in this series. because I have a lot of shit to say. But it was the hardest thing. I never would have imagined this struggle, but it happened. It happened. And to know someone pass away, that's a whole different thing from watching someone pass away. I knew my mom passed away because I was told that. I had to watch my dad pass away. And that's not easy. That's not easy at all. It was terrifying. It was heartbreaking. So many emotions were running through my head because this is like the clicker that he's finally gone, and I don't know how to deal with this after today. What do I do? I took care of my dad for 2 years. 2 years. Blood, sweat, and tears put into it. And there were days to where I didn't want to, and I'm not ashamed of saying that because caretakers know you get tired. But I did it anyway because I love him. He's my whole heart. My whole heart. That man was like my buddy. Literally my best friend. Literally my best friend. And sometimes I feel like I wouldn't even trade it for the world. The experience, I wouldn't trade it. But it's so selfish to say that. Knowing the pain that he was in. And so this season is of letting go because you have to. But man, if I had just a car ride back, we'd be rapping his favorite songs or just doing anything, just one moment back. That would make so much of a difference. And this is me being so vulnerable because I literally hate crying in front of people. And I'm crying in front of YouTube. So what is that? What? Anyway. Anyway, I say all that to say you're not alone. You're not alone with your grieving. You're not alone with death. You're not alone with bereavement. You're not alone with anything. You have someone. Utilize your resources. Talk to somebody. It's so important to talk to somebody. You don't want to be that balloon, right? You don't want to be blown up and then somebody comes and bursts your bubble and you explode and don't know what to do with these emotions. Talk to somebody. It's so important. It's very vital. It will provide you some clarity. And it's not easy. It's not easy. But you have to do that at some point. Because it will not get better if you keep it in. And on that note, because we're going to continue this series. And I feel like this series is like maybe 3 or 4 parts. And on episode 3, we're going to dig deeper into this and just kind of figure out how you feel. If you have questions about death or dying or bereavement or anything of that nature, I want you to tap in my comments. Please, please. I want to hear from you. It's so essential to talk about it. I kid you not. I shit you not. Do it. So, on that note, we're going to end this episode with our affirmations. And I want you to say them with me, if you can. Our affirmations for this episode is: you are valued. You are secure. You are trying. You're succeeding. You're loved. You're appreciated. You're understood. You are heard. You're heard. You are so heard. You're worthy of being listened to. That's all I have for episode 2 of Ray Speaks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please tune in to the next episode next Wednesday. As always, peace and blessings. I'll see y'all next time. Our affirmations for this episode is: you are valued. You are secure. You are trying. You're succeeding. You're loved. You're appreciated. You're understood. You are heard. You're heard. You are so heard. You're worthy of being listened to. That's all I have for episode 2 of Ray Speaks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please tune in to the next episode next Wednesday. As always, peace and blessings. I'll see y'all next time. What do you...